Hey friends, it's Dimitri with Nebraska Streetwear. Here is the month in review for December, but what I'm actually going to do is kind of wrap the whole year up in this video, so it's going to be called Year in Review. Um, this year, well, let's start with December. December was really busy because it was Christmas time and it's the end of the year. Typically with e-commerce in general, the last few months of the year are going to be really busy, and this is something I've noticed over the years. It's kind of like sales are kind of operate at like a trough. So you have one high point and then it goes down, and then you have another high point. So in the beginning of the year it's pretty busy, and towards the end of the year it's pretty busy, and then in the middle sometimes it's a little bit slower than usual, and that is something to keep in mind of. And that's something that I really learned this year, and it's something that I want to focus on and fix to maybe put more money into the beginning and end of the year, and figure out ways where I can improve in the middle of the year to boost more sales and to have things more even. And having evenness is actually one of my new goals for the new year, so that is something I will talk about in another video. um, I grew on all the platforms: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all those things. I did wish I could have grown more in those, but I didn't really invest as much time as I should have. That's one thing that I should work on for this year. It was one of my goals last year, but I didn't fulfill those expectations I set for myself as good as I should have. But on the positive side, I did have my best year in sales. Every single year, sales has been going up, and this year I had about 16% more like growth in sales and like the total revenue, and 35% more orders. So that's a pretty big jump. So I figured out what was working really well during 2023, and now I have kind of a new focus for 2024, and I already listed out like all of the new strategies that I'm going to do. I typed all that out. Here's a new really cool thing. I also printed out a physical calendar, and believe it or not, I have not really been running off a real calendar for my whole business for like years and years. I kind of just play it by ear a little bit, and I have a mental calendar in my head. I'm like, okay, I gotta finish files by and artwork by this time. I gotta send it into production by this time. It should be done by this time. I kind of was operating like that, but really you do want to operate off of a calendar. And what I did on this calendar is I basically compiled a lot of information that was floating around in my head and on my computer all into one thing. And for me personally, I kind of like having a physical calendar because I like to look at everything at once, and I don't want to be flipping through screens and typing stuff for that. Although for other things in my life and business, I do like digital. It kind of really depends, but I do like physical calendar. For instance, on this, I wrote all the days the post office is closed so I can plan accordingly to maintain fast shipping times and make sure stuff gets sent out. When the post office is closed or open, I know exactly what's going on. Put all of the due dates for rent for this place, and that's kind of important because I also figured out something interesting from compiling all this together. There are some months where I have to pay rent twice in that month. The reason why is because it has to be paid on the first, or like it has to be paid on the first, but it has to be paid before that if the bank is not open on that specific day. So there's certain months where it falls. I have to pay rent twice in that month, which can disrupt cash flow a tiny bit in some ways, and that helps me to like adjust for that month. There's also another interesting thing was there's estimated taxes due, and then there's excise taxes due. So that's like the retail tax you collect. And there's some months where both of those are due for that, and there's some months where only one of those is due. It really depends, and that's another example of this is a good thing that I did because I can kind of regulate cash flow better, and I'm really looking forward to that. I also put production deadlines on here, and then the drop days, preferred drop days. So now I have a really, really clear guide as to how I'm gonna go about with the new year. And I did not have this for 2023, so I think this will help a lot. I'm excited for that. One thing that was very beneficial for 2023 was I was more in line with my health goals, and that really translated well into here. When I'm here in the morning, I'm just really, really focused usually. And I've been getting more work done, more clear thinking this year than I have in previous years, because I've been going to the gym daily, been taking my vitamins. I've been eating a lot better since, well, I did change my health habits in 2020, but each year I've been getting better and better at it. And this year I'm even more geared towards that, which I'm really excited about. One of the biggest things that I learned from 2023, and I think this is going to be like the biggest point in this video, is that small, tiny little changes in your business have humongous impacts, and you got to pay attention to all those small little details. I'll give you a funny story. So here is a Kanban card, right? And I've made many videos about that. You guys probably know what that is. It's just a reorder card. Well, I had an issue where I had like screen printing ink, and I ran out of some ink that I really needed to fix a specific t-shirt or hoodie. And what happened was I bought that supply, and it didn't cross my mind to make a Kanban card. And you want to make a reorder card for every single supply you have, no matter if you use it a lot, well, especially if you use it a lot, or if you only use it very sparingly. And for this ink, it's used pretty sparingly, but I do need it, you know, and we use it for some things. So I didn't have that, and I had to fix a hoodie that was going out that day. And what ended up happening was I had to drive all the way to the store to get it, because we had some here, and it was like half an hour away. And then I wasn't able to send out that customer's order on that day, so now their order is a day behind, which, you know, in hindsight, maybe it's not the biggest deal, but for me, I want stuff to be sent out fast. I don't want extra days to be tacked on to orders like that. And then that's just an example of a tiny little detail, like a defect in the process, where it led to sending out an order a day late, right? Because I couldn't get it done in time. And that was all caused from just one small thing that I didn't do. So, and that's like maybe like a really small story, but there's many things like that. If you really look and work backwards and what kind of problems you have in your business, you'll figure that out. And yeah, that was 2023. It was a really good year overall. But for the new year, I have a lot of bigger plans, specifically with production. So today, actually, I'm expecting my vinyl printer, so that's going to be fun. That thing was quite a bit of money. I think overall, with the supplies, the printer, the stand, inks, all that stuff, it's a little over $6,000 that I dropped on that. At the very end of the year, I was waiting. I was like, you know what? It's probably going to go down in price during Black Friday or at the end of the year. This is a tip for you guys. For tax reasons, and for if you want to get into production, try to wait until the end of the year, because a lot of stuff is usually discounted and you're going to get at way better rates. And you'll know how much money you need to spend for the tax season, so then you end up paying less taxes, because all that stuff is obviously a write-off. So that's one big thing I got in 2023, the printer. But for the new year, I'm going to be able to set it up and use it. Hopefully today or tomorrow I'll be able to set that up, because after this video I got to get home and wait for the truck to deliver it there. It's going to be on a huge semi-truck, so I can't really get it delivered in this area, because my office is in a strange area where there's no like parking and no access to large trucks, which is going to be a pain in the butt, because then I'm going to have to put it in my car and then take it to here later, and it's going to be heavy, so I might need help with that. But we'll figure that out, and I'll make a video about that. So that's going to be nice, because that's going to increase cash flow into my business. If I manufacture my stickers, it's going to save me several $100s a month. And then I'm only going to have to make, you know, as much as is needed. I don't have to stock up a lot on stuff. And that's also one of my goals for the new year. And here are some problems or things that I really want to fix for the new year based off of 2023. So one of them was, I already mentioned, was unevenness in the business. I want things to be, more even drops, more even cash flow. That's one of the issues that I was dealing with on some months, was low cash flow. I learned about using so sometimes when I do drops, I'll give you an example. Let's say that I order like 100 black t-shirts and 100 white t-shirts of the same design. But from this year, what I realized was, obviously there are certain colors, like specifically black, that just sells at a way higher rates than white, even though white is also a popular color, but it is not selling at the same rate. But I would be printing those t-shirts at the same rate. So for instance, let's say instead of ordering like 100 black t-shirts and 100 white t-shirts, it would be smarter for me to order more like 125 black t-shirts and 75 white t-shirts, stuff like that. So balancing out the stock levels more accurately is going to be really helpful for me this year, and that's something that I learned from last year. And it's something I kind of knew for a while, but I just never really like put my foot down and adjusted course, I guess. Another one was sizes. So for me personally in my business, the most popular sizes are large, number one, number two is medium, and number three is extra large. And then small and double XL, they sell less frequently, small being the most less frequent seller. And I would always order stock based off of kind of strange numbers. I would order less of small and less of extra large. But even this year, I realized I need to order even less smalls, because they do sell, but sometimes it takes a really long time for like I literally always have 1 or 2 t-shirts left, and they're always in small. And I'm like, okay, I need to simply order less smalls, and then that stock will go away. It'll free up space in the computer, and it'll just help with cash flow. So that's something that I learned from 2023. Another thing that was interesting too was some mistakes I made in 2023. I would order too much of off-season products at weird seasons. So for instance, there would be drops where I'd have like, it was very heavy in hoodies. So there'd be drops where it was like 3 different types of hoodies, then the next month another 3 different types of hoodies, where for those specific months it would have been better for me to rather have more t-shirts. Specifically, like in the summer season, it's better to have more t-shirts and a little bit less hoodies. Then when fall rolls around, you want to try to put more money into hoodies and the same or a little bit less into t-shirts, because it's a colder season. But that kind of also depends on what kind of business you're running, what kind of sales you have, and where you're selling and the seasons, all that kind of stuff. So, but for me personally, that's something I'm going to keep more focus on for the new year. And that's what I learned in 2023. And one last thing too, with the unevenness part, is the deadlines. So that's why I printed out a calendar for this year, because keeping in line with the deadlines is really going to help me for the new year. And it's going to create more evenness in the business. It's going to be better to package stuff, because there's not going to be pre-orders, there's not going to be people waiting, and things are going to flow a lot smoother. So that's definitely a huge theme that I learned in 2023. So yeah, that is the year in review. It was a great year. I learned a lot. And now I'm looking forward to the new year. I will make another video about more in depth about my New Year's goals and kind of strategies that I have. And I hope that you guys learn from that. And I hope I learned from all of these good things and bad things, and that this year goes well. If you guys got any value of this video, or if you have any comments or questions, you can leave them down in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.